Hey everyone, Michael O'Brien here. And today we're going to find out if magicians are less prone to mental illness. Hello everyone, Michael O'Brien here, and welcome back to the channel. Before we dive into this one, I did want to issue a trigger warning for mental health illness related stuff, attempted suicide and all of that. If that kind of stuff will trigger you or is a little unsettling for you guys, I recommend that you skip this video because we are going to be talking about that. Or maybe if you're triggered by mental health articles that seem to have had no real research or actual science put into them, if any of that kind of stuff triggers you, I'm warning you now. But in this video, I wanted to talk about this article that's been going around on Facebook. You guys might have seen it or not. It's called Magicians Less Prone to Mental Illness, a Study. I actually sent this to my wife, who is a mental health professional. She is a marriage and family therapist. She's got her master's degree in clinical psychology. So what better person to share this with than her? And her first reaction to this was, I'd love to see what some of the sources for some of this stuff are, because holy crap, does this look not accurate at all, right? We're going to dive into this in just a moment. Before I do that, though, I'd like to welcome you back to the channel. If you're new here, please make sure to click the subscribe button. Don't forget to ring the bell. That way you guys know every time I upload a new video. And if you'd like to support the channel and unlock some new content, I recommend clicking the join button and becoming a member. You'll join some of our newest members here on the channel. Ladies and gentlemen, please say hello to Foskol, Devin Chapman, Robert Blair, Hiram Norman, and Ian Batterberry. Thank you guys for becoming members. It is because of you that I'm able to keep this channel going. And if you guys would like to join them, unlock some members only content, all you have to do is click the join button below this video, or check out the membership tab for more info. So let's go ahead and dive in to the content of this video. Like I said, this is an article that has been getting passed around Facebook. I'm going to put it up here on the screen so you guys can read along with me. This is by Nathan Bevan, BBC News. It says, whether it is comedians such as Robin Williams or famous painters such as Van Gogh, many creative people have long been known to suffer with their mental health. This is true. But new research shows that the same is not so of magicians, because no magicians ever suffer from mental health, right? According to I'm not even going to attempt to say this university's name, they're all but exempt from the inner turmoil experienced by other artists. I have had a nice go at mental health issues myself without going into too much detail. I am a survivor of attempted suicide myself. So right out the bat, I'm going to say, and I've been doing magic for a long time. I'm a professional working magician. I'm going to tell you guys right now, in no way, shape, or form is me being a professional magician at all helped with my mental health struggles. Going to therapy, having a supportive family, a supportive wife, these things have helped my mental health, not being a magician. The study published by the journal BJ Psych measured the psychologist traits of 195 magicians and 233 people from the general population and compared it with data from other creative groups. I'm going to say that is a very shallow test pool. 195 magicians and 233 other people. That less than 500 people does not sound like a very good pool to me, but I digress. Sorry, I got hit with an ad here. There's no way to get rid of that ad, so we're going to get cut off a little bit here, but that's okay because none of this even matters anyway. They are also less likely to have hallucinations or cognitive disorganization, which can make it hard to concentrate. Definitely not true. I suffer from ADHD as well, and not being able to concentrate, my magic has nothing to do with this. Dr. Gil Greengrass from this university's psychology department compared their mental health profiles more to those of mathematicians and scientists. You hear that, John Nash? I'm coming after you. The results demonstrate that the association between creativity and psychopathology, there we go, I got that word out, is more complex than previously thought, he said, explaining that different kinds of creative work could be associated with either high or low psychoticism or autistic traits. I do have a little bit of autism, I would say. I've never been properly diagnosed, but definitely on the spectrum in some way. One thing that distinguishes magicians from most other artists is the precision required in their performances, he said. That's not true. Musicians are artists, and they have to have an extreme amount of precision when they're playing music, or if they're marching, or if they're on stage performing. Compared to other performers, it is more difficult to overcome errors. Again, not true. Magic tricks largely being an all or nothing act that culminate in an aha moment of surprise and awe. This definitely comes off like it was written to someone that doesn't know anything about magic, because that's not what magic is necessarily about. It's not about a series of build-ups to an aha moment. Most magic tricks are multi-layered. If one little piece goes wrong, the whole thing isn't going to fall apart. Of course, it's not true for every trick, but for the most part, if you're doing a series of acts that build and build and build to one aha moment, and if one little step of that puzzle goes awry, then the whole thing falls apart, you need to rethink your act anyway, in my opinion. But Dr. Greengross added, failed magic tricks leave a greater impact than unfunny jokes and are harder to compensate for, as they are few and far in between. Also not true. If you're a comedian on stage and you're bombing, the audience is going to let you know. If you're a magician and you're performing on stage and a trick goes wrong, yeah, it sucks, but you can recover from it. Unless, of course, you're bombing as a magician, in which case it's got nothing to do with whether or not you're telling jokes or doing magic. At this point, you're just bombing, and the audience is letting you know so. In addition to requiring highly technical skills, regardless of the type of magic performed, again, not true. There are tons of magic performances that have zero technical skill at all. It's 100% self-working. Or like in the case of some illusionists even, the magician doesn't do anything. The magician just does this, and like the assistants running around the stage do most of the work. The high stakes of magic performances make magicians a unique creative group to study amongst all artistic professions. He said that what also distinguishes magicians from many other creatives is that they not only create their own magic tricks, but also perform them, while most creative groups are either creators or performers. And let me read that again, because I don't think I agree with this either. Also distinguishes magicians from many other creatives is that they not only create their own magic tricks, but also perform them, while most creative groups are either creators or performers. I've used musicians as the example in this, unless he's like specifically excluding music from being an art form. But let's just say a painter. A painter has to come up with the idea of what they want to paint, and then they have to execute it. It's not like the painter has a team of people coming up with the next big thing that they're going to paint, and then all they have to do is just sit back and then paint it. Or the painter isn't coming up with the concept and then giving the brush and whatever, the easel to someone else to paint. They're doing both. For example, poets, writers, composers, and choreographers create something that will be consumed or performed by others. In contrast, actors, musicians, and dancers perform and interpret the creations of others. This isn't true. This person that wrote this is coming off like they don't know anything about this. There are plenty of dancers that do their own choreography. There are plenty of musicians that write their own music. This doesn't make any sense. Comedians also write their own material. Magicians, like comedians and singer-songwriters, are those rare groups that do both. Okay, so he's at least giving us that. Magicians scored low on impulsive nonconformity, a trait that is associated with antisocial behavior and lower self-esteem, or excuse me, lower self-control. That's also not true. There are plenty of magicians that are very socially awkward. They learn magic tricks, and a lot of the times they don't even go out and perform them for people because they are socially awkward. These traits are valuable for many creative groups, such as writers, poets, and comedians, whose creative acts are all often edgy and challenge conventional wisdom. Right? So that looks like that's the end of the article. All right. The article didn't even feel like it finished, but okay. So what are my thoughts on this? This person didn't cite any sources. That's the first thing that my wife said was, where are this guy's sources? I'd like to know. He quoted, I guess, a psychologist or some kind of doctor, some kind of psychology doctor, philosopher, whatever you call him. He quoted this one person that said this one thing. That's not how science works. You don't quote one person and say, you see, this is the link that's been discovered between this and this. This one person said so, right? That's not how it works. You need to have peer-reviewed research. That's what I'm trying to say. Peer-reviewed research. What does this mean? This means what you do is you come up with this hypothesis, you come up with a step-by-step method of how you determined that your hypothesis is accurate, and then that is distributed out to your peers, other scientists, other doctors, other researchers in your field, to do the testing for themselves, and they are going to conclude whether or not your findings are substantial or not. That's the way that this works. It doesn't look like this guy did any of the work other than did a small pool sample of less than 500 people and just kind of came up with this hypothesis, and then this guy published it. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this research is peer-reviewed and it's out there somewhere, but this person didn't cite anything, so who knows? And there are plenty of magicians that I know out there, and this is anecdotal, of course, but there are plenty of magicians out there that I know that suffer from mental health illness, that suffer from depression, that suffer from suicidal ideation, that suffer from, you know, a whole range of different things. And that's because maybe of the brain chemistry, maybe the way that they were raised, maybe the environment that they're finding themselves in. There's a whole bunch of factors. I am not at all a mental health professional. I am not at all a psychologist, so take everything that I'm telling you with a pinch of salt. These are just my opinions, of course. And I'm sure my wife will chime in the comment section below on this if I said anything inaccurately. But I do not think that the fact that I am a magician, or the way that my magician mind thinks, has had any impact on my mental health from a depression standpoint or anything like that, right? I just don't think that that's how this works. I don't think that magicians are specifically wired any differently than any other person. I might be able to compartmentalize how I put my magic act together. I might think about that from a different standpoint than, say, a comedian that's telling jokes or writing their jokes and they're putting the material together, or a musician that's writing music and going out and performing it. We might compartmentalize the way that we process these things differently, but I don't think that this has any impact on our mental health, like, at all. Again, this is just my opinion. I'd love to know what you guys think. Did you read the article before watching this video? If you have not read the article in its entirety and you weren't able to really see it too well in this video, don't worry, I'm going to leave a link below in the description to the article so you guys can go back and read it yourself. I'm also going to leave this link in the comment section. I highly recommend that you guys leave a comment and let me know what you think. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And also, I don't ever say this at the end of my videos, but I just wanted to throw this out there for you guys. I do have an online magic store where you can purchase some creations of mine and you guys can go out and perform them. So please go to o'brienmagic.com. Check out all of the offerings there. There's a bunch of really cool stuff. And again, if you have not already done so, please subscribe and consider clicking the join button and becoming a member so that you guys can unlock a whole bunch of awesome stuff. Early access to videos so you don't have to wait. Over 70 tutorials in the tutorials playlist. The O'Brien Magic family meetings that happen the first Saturday of every single month. You guys can get one-on-one access with me where you can pick my brain. We can do phone consultations, we could do Zoom calls, all of that stuff. All of that in the membership tab. Click the join button, choose the tier that's good for you, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.